around distributing credit cards in shops. And then after that, when I was passing by, there was a fence. I saw a fence at a local church. And I thought, this is the best place to open a pork butchery because there are so many people here who like pork.
Right.
But they go far away to get the meat.
Corner instead of...
So I actually came up with a strategy on how that will happen. So I actually talked to guys, and guys supported me, and the pastor gave me the space. So we mobilized finances and we started building the butcher. So we started from the foundation all the way to now what it is today.
Wow, beautiful.
Yes.
Ruth, you have gone through something that so many of us have gone through or currently are going through, which is a salary cut. How many companies have told people you either have to take a 50% pay cut, 30% pay cut? But the interesting thing is that you didn't stop there and complain. So I like the kind of frame mind that you were in once you heard that, okay, you have to take a pay cut. Okay, basically for me, I would say, for me, it's been a learning journey. The period post-COVID presented an opportunity which I thought maybe this is about, it's for me to grab this opportunity so that I can utilize it. Basically, it was just immediately after I've given birth to my twins. So here we are, you have a pay cut, and you really need to survive. So I talked to my husband and I told him, how do we go about it? I'm so passionate about the shoe industry because this is something which I did way back, even before I joined company. I joined the campus. So I say, now what do we do? As the Churchill Winston says, a crisis presents two opportunity, either the danger or the opportunities. So I looked at it from a different angle. And from it, I tried to do market research on what I can actually do. So I thought about the shoe industry, and we did a lot of market research. So we realized that what is in the market is actually good, but people are lacking value for their products. Value for their money. So we came up with this Rivana. So my first client was actually my husband. I made for him his shoes. When he went with them, the feedback was overwhelming. So from there, I saw this is an opportunity for me to actually utilize. So that's how Rivana was actually born. Alice, for you to move from advertising into personal development and, you know, now this becoming your full-time work, how are you able to know that, by the way, there is a need in the middle of a pandemic, by the way, that people actually need guidance, they need coaching?
It's quite an interesting story because I got into coaching through my own personal transformation journey. And I had been on a self-discovery journey for about 3 years. And it's like COVID is just what brought everything, you know, to the table and just turned my life upside down. And I remember at that point, we had clients who were supposed to come and sign up. And we knew this one is coming at this time, this one is coming at this time. Then, COVID happens, and the last thing people want to spend their money on when there's so much uncertainty is advertising. So it was like one client after the other just put all their campaigns on hold. And I think for me, the breaking point was just after, was it March 26th? When it was announced that we were going to go on a lockdown, and the last client pulled out. And I remember it was such a very dark point for me at that moment. I was broke, I was broken, I was in a very dark space. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and I remember she mentioned, we were just talking about, you know, how life is, and I was asking her, how about this, how about that, what do you think you should do? Because she kept on asking, so what should I do? And I was telling her, you know what, don't ask me what to do because you already know what to do. So what do you think you should be doing? And I remember we had a very interesting conversation. And after that, she was like, do you know what you've done is just coaching? And I was like, what do you mean? And we laughed. I shared a joke and I told her, you know what, I should probably invoice you for that. And we laugh.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how it was. That's how it started.
Yes.
Okay. We want to rope in our audience at this particular time by sharing the question of the day to you, or rather with you. And you can go ahead and contribute to our ongoing discussions right here through our social media platforms and even through that WhatsApp number. And our question this time around is, how do you find opportunities in a crisis? How do you go about finding an opportunity in a crisis? And I think I do want to pose that question to you, Nicholas, because you did something that probably a lot of people are not able to actually achieve, which is doing your market research and putting your ear on the ground. What would you say is the ideal way on how to find out what works as a business concept?
I think for me, you have to get out of your comfort zone.
Right.
You know, when you just sit down and probably pity yourself because of COVID-19, you will still remain the same. There's nothing that will happen. So for me, COVID-19 was an opportunity because I was comfortable at my working place.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I had enough time for myself to actually walk around and see the need so that I can come up with a business.
Yeah.
So for me, I normally say, and I've talked to young people, and I've told them that COVID-19 actually is a time for discovering opportunities and stretching yourself to expand.
Yeah.
So when you want to grow, you have to actually get out of your comfort zone and move. So I moved around when distributing credit. That's the only way I was able to actually see the opportunity. When probably I was sitting at home and doing nothing, I couldn't have even seen an opportunity to come up with a butcher or something. So we normally say in Kiswahili, jitume, you know. You have to go outside there. You have to be resilient. You have to talk to people, you know. I used to talk with a lot of people, you know. My mentors, I used to, you know, talk to them and ask them questions. What can we do? Is there anything that you feel I can do? Yeah. And of course, there's so much potential that God has given us, because I discovered there's so many things we can do. Absolutely. And I'm actually thinking, I've actually divided my butcher. There's another part for M-Pesa, selling credit cards, both on wholesale and retail. Yes. And I've actually realized that I can even pay bills for people. Wow. Yeah, so I even pay the KPLC bills, the water bills and all that. So there's so many opportunities. Yeah. When you interact with people, you'll be able to know the need. Okay. Because when they come there to buy meat, they'll probably ask you, why don't you bring this? Yes. Why don't you? And it will start growing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Ruth, you know, when we talk about side hustles in this country, it seems like it's almost the norm, you know. But there are some people who are quite content with their careers or their jobs. In your opinion, do you think that is, you know, almost like careers, like a career suicide, financial suicide, so to speak, if you are only waiting on one stream of revenue to come in? Because you started a side hustle even before you left the main one.
Yeah. So basically for me, what I would actually tell people, it's all about your attitude. Yeah. Don't have the mentality of, I can't do this. We should all embrace those opportunities. If you're able to make your money from either way, please pick it. If you're able to help one or two people from another side, which is not, personally, I'm an advocate by profession. Yeah. So you see, it's funny, if you see an advocate in a shoe industry, then people think, oh, I know, right. So basically, take that opportunity, grab it. Yeah. Because when we look at something and then we see, I can't do this because I'm this and this, that will shut your dreams. Yeah, that will not generate an income. So basically for me, I saw this as an opportunity and I said, let me run with this idea. Yeah.
Another issue that people also do have with side hustles is the idea of juggling. How are you able to juggle the two? First of all, you're an expectant mom at the time. Okay, you're thinking about, okay, if I let me start my shoe business at the same time, you know, you've got your career going. So, yeah, tips.
So on that, I will just say, this is all about God. First and foremost, I thank God for His grace. It's been sufficient. And the other thing is about planning yourself, because at no one time will you have an extra hour.
Yeah.
It's just
we all have 24
hours.
That's true.
So it's about you to plan for those 24 hours, how you're going to go about your hustle, how you're going to jungle between being a mom, between your career, and between your side hustle. So planning is quite important in all that. Yeah.
All right, coming over to you, Alice, we find that COVID-19 has taught so many of us as entrepreneurs that we really did not plan ourselves for the eventuality of something like this. A lot of us were caught flat-footed, caught pants down, and I think in your situation, it happened, you know, in the very same fashion that COVID is here, we are now on a lockdown, your clients are not advertising, what do I do next? So what can we learn from this on how to buff ourselves and even prepare ourselves?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And from what I've learned from my own experience is what we can do to just, it's always good to have a plan.
Yeah.
But just in case you have, you're in the midst of a crisis and you had no plan, I think the questions that we ask ourselves is very important. And most of the time we ask ourselves, you know, why is this happening to me? Who's to blame? Why is it always me? From my own experience, I've found out that if we just change that question from why to what, you know, what can I do about this situation? What is this here to teach me? What do I have now that I can actually use to just, I don't know, even if it's just taking one step forward, what is that one thing I can do just to stay afloat for today? I think it's a very important lesson that I've learned and I'd love to share with the rest of the Kenyans.
Yeah. And also just to engage you, Alice, in terms of how we manage our finances, you know, as entrepreneurs, you'll find that some people also have not been able to separate their business finances from their personal finances. And so you've got someone who has a startup and is putting everything in one pot. So your business is not running independently from you as the individual. Could you say that's probably, you know, one of the things that you experienced with your startup at the time?
It's, yeah, more or less the same thing. And that's why I actually ended up joining SFA. It's called SMEs Founders Association.
Yeah.
And with SFA, you get to learn how to grow your business as either a small enterprise or a medium enterprise. And what you've talked about, you know, mixing this money and that money, using the business money to run your home, and you get to learn so much, and not just personal finance, but even how to manage your business, how to navigate in times of crisis and all that. It's been a great lesson, and I would encourage any founders in either small or medium enterprises to join the association and just learn from there.
Good point. Let's ask, of course, our viewers to keep sending in any questions you may have. Remember, we have that question of the day for you. Let's slap that again on your screen very quickly. How do you find opportunities in a crisis? By the way, this is a great opportunity to also engage our panelists and ask them, how did they do it? You may be at home wondering, what's next for me? Biashara imekufa, okay? Perhaps you have, you know, experienced that pay cut at your office place, or you've actually been retrenched. So what do you do next? And when it comes to that, Nicholas, you know, it seems for quite a lot of people, the transitioning is the hardest part. How do I move from having a, you know, a 9 to 5 to now becoming my own boss, dictating my own hours, and me making all the decisions? How was that transition period for you?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
So I struggled a lot.
Yeah.
Because you're used to doing this, and now you're transiting to do something else.
Yes.
That you've never done before. But I think, as we say, as my sister said, COVID-19.
Yeah.
Is actually, to me, I was even talking with my friend, and I was telling them that it could have actually come earlier than this.
Yes.
Because by now I could have probably have many businesses, because my dream is to open so many intentional pork centers around. Yeah. So to me, I think COVID-19 really pushed me to get out of my comfort zone and to move around. Though it wasn't really easy, but I had to move, because at the end of the day, you need to pay your bills. Yeah. The children need to eat and all that. So I had just to move. Yes, I had just to move. Yeah.
There's the idea, Ruth, that if I want to set up a business, I need lots and lots of money. I need a huge fund, you know, or kitty for my capital. What's your take on that? Because one thing that I've gathered, especially even from Nicholas, you know, the little you can still do something with that. Was that the same experience for you, even setting up, you know, your clothing collection?
Okay, basically what I will say, money is never enough. So whatever you had, you should just put it to the business. Yeah. Because if you are waiting to get some huge finances,
hundreds of thousands,
it wouldn't work that way. Yeah. Especially if we are able to take lessons from COVID, you'll realize none of us had actually planned for this. It just came and there we were. So the little you have, you can always invest. And also, I would also say you can also rely on your family members if they're willing to support. Yeah. Yeah, because for me, they've been quite instrumental in terms of finances. You can also look at your savings. Just the little savings that you have, they should be able to get you going. So that once you're able to invest in this, and then with good planning, you should be able to actualize your finances.
Alice, we are always told by coaches, and now that you're one, that you've got to know your why. Why are you setting up a pork center? Why do you have a fashion line? Why are you doing, you know, personal development as a career? Your why?
My why is actually what wakes me up every morning with a big smile. My why is what gets me to sleep when I've had so much and I'm still very happy. And my why is basically to just raise human consciousness. And this is out of my own experience. Yeah. I'm a life coach, and I have a bias towards women. I help women sharpen their self-awareness skills, so that they can enjoy a more meaningful, purposeful, and productive life, which is exactly what you're talking about, which is the why. And for me, this came about from my own personal experience and just asking myself, you know, why am I here? What am I supposed to do? What are my gifts? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my networks? Networks are also very important. It's said that your networks are your net worth. Yeah. You know, what are your skills? What is that unique skill set that you have that no one else can be able to? There can only be one you. So what is it that makes you so unique? And for me, I had been on a self-awareness journey way before that. So it was just getting into coaching. It was more of quite a seamless kind of thing, because when I was looking at what I would want to do, I thought about why not do what I am really passionate about, what I have been doing and what comes so naturally to me, which was self-discovery and just finding out so much about myself, which is actually what got me in line with my purpose. The only thing that I didn't know was there'll be a global pandemic, my world will be turned upside down for me to find my why. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We will be talking a little bit more about understanding the core values or the reason as to why you're setting up what you're intending to set up. And mostly we are obviously speaking to you if you are a startup, because this is exactly what's happening in studio today. We've got people who are running startups and have just begun their journey as entrepreneurs. If you want to jump onto this bandwagon, why don't you start texting us through that WhatsApp number that's at the bottom of your screen? screen, or even engage us on our social media platforms as we talk about finding opportunities during a crisis. Remember, that question of the day still stands at K24 TV. Yet again, is how you can reach us. We'll be sampling your feedback when we take this short commercial break. We'll be back with more. Welcome back to Money and Finance on K24 TV. We do appreciate your company. We've got quite the discussion going on today on the show as we talk about opportunities in times of a crisis. We are engaging Ruth Bikambo. She is the CEO of Rivana Collections, as well as Alice Njambi, who does have a personal development company called Conscious Creators. Not to mention Nicholas Olwoch, who is with us, who has the Intentional Pork Center, and many more to come from what we understand. It's all about startups today on this show, and we're asking you if you can go as far as being able to reboot and re-strategizing as far as your business is concerned. What's your plan? What is your game plan going forward? We all know that we've been hit by this pandemic, so what next? And we have this question of the day for you, and we've been asking, how do you find opportunities in a crisis? Well, let's take a look at what's coming through our WhatsApp number very fast. The panelists are amazing. Nicholas, how does he ensure he gets quality products at the right time? Okay, keep that in mind. Ruth, we've got a question here for you. Where do you source your leather from? And then Alice, her bias is towards women, but would she consider talking to the young men who walk with these young women? I like that. Okay, do we have another one? Good morning. I'm Francis Calypso and watching the show from Kangware. I'm really inspired by Olwoch. Indeed, it's about getting out of your comfort zone, because when we were really hardly hit by the pandemic, where some of us were left in quagmire. Therefore, I'm here to note down few inspirational points, rather, as the show continues. Thank you, Francis. Bless you, and thanks for texting in. Okay, so we have questions for all of you before we get to our next talking points. Nicholas, you have inspired quite a number of people who has messaged in. So he's asking how you manage to get quality or at least source for quality products all the time for your butchery and for your pork center.
I think working on your network is very important. You need to tap for some knowledge from those people who are already in the market. So I did my research, and I've connected with a lot of people on the ground who are also selling pork. And we also have a slaughterhouse. Dumbo in Uthiru. So I've also been there to check on the meat, and there's so many people, as I said, that I've also engaged.
Yeah.
So that I make sure that I get meat on time and quality meat. Yes.
All right, Ruth, your question was about where you source for high quality leather for your collection.
Yeah, so basically we have good leather in the market, and it's actually locally available. We get our leather from Njiru at Aziz Tannery, and you also get leather from Alpha Rama. It's in Athi River. These are very good quality leather. Yeah.
Alice, why are you biased towards women, and what are you going to do to engage the young men who are working with these women?
The bias towards women is just a personal thing because I can relate more to women and their journey, because those are steps that I've taken.
Right.
But that notwithstanding, I do coach men as well, but not as much. So what I've done is I've partnered with a few friends.
Yeah.
And together we have come up with, I have a very strong passion for the youth. And I keep on thinking, you know, the problem that we have in, not just in Kenya, but in Africa as a whole is a mindset problem. You know, it's about, we keep on waiting for someone to come and save us. And if anything, there was a man who came like 2,000 years ago and people still, you know, didn't believe him. So
yeah,
I think it's just high time that we thought about what we can be able to do ourselves. And what we've done is a couple of friends and I have came together and started a foundation. It's called Sauti ya Kijana Foundation.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of the foundation is to just give a voice to the youth. And in terms of not just giving them a platform to speak, but in terms of just giving them a space where they can be able to come and be trained on life skills, where they can come and just get to know themselves. Like you said, the big question, what's your why? You know, why? Who are you? What are you? Why are you here? What is it that you have that is so unique? Because I personally believe that we all have a purpose. Everyone came here well equipped.
Yeah.
It's only that most of the time we don't really know. We are unconscious of the skills and the abilities that we have to be able to, you know, just take charge of our lives. And because of that, we keep on waiting for other people to come and save us. Either we are waiting for, I don't know, our government leaders to come and give us something, or the pastor to come and, you know, share a prophecy or something.
Yeah.
But apart from doing that, what else can we do?
Yeah.
And so we came up with that foundation, and we have a couple of things geared up, and it's quite exciting.
Okay.
It's just,
All right, Alice, let's listen into Joshua from Kirinyaga, who's on the phone. Good morning, Joshua. Karibu sana.
Yeah, Shiko, good morning.
Morning.
Allow me to start by congratulating our panelists for the resilience that they have showed during this time. But I would wish to say that, Shiko, many a times when we hear people talk about having risen from very difficult times, or maybe finding a place out of turmoil, it happens in many cases out of sheer luck. I must say that. Number two, in many cases it's also accidental that, yes, things just weren't working out, then you tried something and it worked for you. But the truth of the matter is that when we have crises, most of the people actually sink. They are unable to find their feet. They actually crumble. It's like when you put stuff into boiling water, an egg will harden, a potato will soften, a spoon will not change, and coffee will change the color of the water. So I think at times every person has their own situations and circumstances, and if it works for you, well and good. To many people, it doesn't work. That is my contribution, Shiko.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And let's pick up that point from there, Nicholas, as far as the kind of mind blocks that we tend to have. You know, the things that are in our head that tell us that we cannot do what you have done or achieved. We can't go further because this has happened. And so is the issue that we're focusing too much on the crisis?
Number one, I can say yes. Probably when you focus too much on the crisis, you end up not doing what maybe God created you to do. But at the same time, I also think it's about maybe probably working on yourself.
Yeah.
Because most of us are not willing to do the dirty job. We are comfortable doing the so-called white-collar job. And when you go on the ground, there are so many things that we can do. And from the three of us, you realize connecting yourself with the right people. You know, we have two kinds of people in life. We have Herods and we have the wise men.
Yeah.
So there's some ideas you cannot share with Herod. But in life, you look for people, the wise men that you can share ideas with, the family, those friends that you can connect with and work with. So they help you in life, and they actually even call out the giant, the sleeping giant in you, and even they support you, they push you to where, to where you're supposed to be. So for me, I would say networks and working on your mentality, as she mentioned, work on your mentality. Because, you know, the people, when they hear things from other people, they get discouraged so fast. Yeah. And they don't want to try it out. But there are people, when they hear things, you know, they really want to try it out. Yeah. And see how difficult it is.
Okay. Yeah. Jeffrey from West Pokot is on the line. Good morning, Jeffrey. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, so I'm Jeffrey from West Pokot. Right. And I'm very happy so much to hear those people with a very, very good teaching. I'm a young boy and I want to start a business. Yeah. Like an M-Pesa. So how many money do I have to start? And where is the good location to put it? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I think I understand what Jeffrey is asking is about how do I get the finances to start up, and maybe Nicholas, as you're finishing your point, maybe you can talk to us a little bit about that. Where do I get the money? That's a good question, and I think one of the frequently asked questions that we get on the show.
Yeah, sure. So, as I mentioned earlier, you connect yourself with people that are willing to invest in you. Yeah. So friends and family, close family members can help you get the finances. And number two, just start with what you have. Just start with what you have. I started with it's actually around 10,000 selling credits. That is the only money that I had. Yeah. So with that, it brought about the bigger business that is Intentional Pork Center. Yeah. So you just start with what you have, but on the other hand as well, connect yourself with people that will support you, and as well work on your communication skills as well, and how to engage them and how to talk to them. Yeah. And I believe God has given people money to support us. So when you believe in yourself and talk to them nicely, they'll be able to help you out.
All right. What's sticking out to me, Ruth, from what Nicholas is saying is research. I think even before you begin, you know, starting your business, whatever it is, have you taken the time to research on what it is that you want to start up?
Yeah. It's actually true that research is actually everything. Yeah. Because once you research on what you want to do, you'll be able to know how much you need to put into that business. Right. So basically, I concur with him in terms of research. In terms of finances, it can never be enough. It can never be enough. So just get what you have and start with it. And when you're doing a good job, quality sells. So from the quality, it's where you will actually get your money. So start from where you are, get good quality, and take off. Okay. Yeah.
Alice, let's demystify this term networking, because it has been mentioned quite a bit. I think when people think of what networking means, it's you walking around with business cards and dishing them out and saying, okay, I'm networking. You know, and when you mean networking to some people, it obviously means that you have to be in a very formal setting in order to refer to that as networking. But what really is that? Because if you listen to everybody's story, obviously here, Nicholas, for example, talking about I networked. But you see, where would you think of networking in opening up a business like a pork center?
Good question. Before I get to that, allow me please to just make a comment on what the first caller mentioned about. I think his name was Joshua.
Yeah.
And just to touch a bit on that, what we have, what Joshua talked about is what we have as a majority of Kenyans, and especially so the youth bit, and that's a mindset issue.
Okay, wait, Alice, hold that thought. Sorry to cut you short, because I understand we've got a caller on the line. Philemon is on the line, I believe. Okay, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Karibu sana. Do you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, now I have a comment about the topic going on now.
Yeah.
Actually, me, I'm a teacher professionally. I used to teach at Tarsia School in Nairobi.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you.
And I lost my job just before COVID. Then I got a job at a school called Good Hope in Kasarani.
Yeah.
Which was paying 35,000. Now, before I started that weekend, then COVID.
Yeah.
I got a job. I was to start on Monday. Then, while reporting to job, the president closed the country.
Oh.
Yeah, I went back home. You remember after that, before that, I've been searching for a job for 1 month.
Yeah.
Jobless for 1 month, yeah. Now I went back to the village, Nyakach.
Yeah.
And my dad used to have a power saw machine. I made the machine. I tried a real struggle. I sold one goat. I made the machine.
Yeah.
Now, I really tried to work with it until I generated some finance. But by then, I saw there's a permit there from the Ministry of Forestry. The machine was taken away from me by the government, the ministry.
Yeah.
I went back to zero.
Yeah.
Now, after that time is when I collected myself. I started rearing some chicks.
Oh.
I took 100 chicks at 50 bob each, 500 bob. After that is when I sold the chick again and I engaged in a maize business. And currently I'm selling maize.
Okay, okay.
Now, that is the point where one of the speakers has talked about opportunities within crisis.
Yeah, okay.
What I want to add Kenyan youth is that me, I'm a graduate, actually. I graduated from a senior university.
Okay, okay.
But, you know, the problem with our youth is that we see who we are and we fail to do some of the things that we have.
Okay.
Because we think ourselves of the picture, the outlook of ourselves. I'm a graduate, I can't do this and that.
Okay. Well, that's a good point.
Yes?
That's a very good point, Philemon. I'm going to stop you there, but I think we get your point, and congratulations for making it this far. Thanks a lot for sharing your story with us. We're talking about a teacher who lost his job and now is actually a farmer, so now he's into agriculture. And his point is that young people tend to just say no to the opportunities that are before them because you have this idea that there's only specific work that you can do. But, well, you can see Philemon has showed us that it can work. Well, someone says, hi, I am a starter on business selling Jaga, but a teacher by profession. I saw it that people used to take lemonade, so I saw the importance of using Jage as part of it. I have grown looking for market. At the moment, I'm using social media. Okay, thank you so much for that. Hello, Shiko, I want to start a business in advertising. Kindly ask the lady who quit advertising important lessons she learned from the advertising business. Patterson from Pangani. Okay. All right, back to you, Alice. You were actually commenting on what Joshua from Kirinyaga had said before I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was just mentioning that what he was talking about is more of a mindset issue in terms of them, they've been able to do it. You know, sisi hatuwezi, but that's not true because what I would ask Joshua is, what can you do? You know, what can you be able to, where can you be able to start from with what you have? And if Joshua is willing, I can work with him for about 3 months, and he can come back and share his story afterwards.
Right.
And the question you had asked about networking, I think we have this wrong notion about networking, where networking is a place where there's a party in the evening and there are cocktails and you're standing and shoving business cards in front of people's faces.
Yeah.
And actually that's the wrong concept, because networking just really means having a genuine interest in people and not connecting with people so that they can help you, but more of what can you be able to do for them.
Okay.
And by doing that, what we do is we build relationship capital, such that, as Nicholas was mentioning, when you get to a point where you need help and you're like, hey, Wase, I have this idea, how can you guys help me? People won't be thinking, we are metoka wapi. You know, you have already built relationship capital that you can be able to bank on, and these guys can come up and say, it might not even be in terms of monetary, but I mean, I don't know, cooking, taking.
Alice, sorry, we've got Karanja on the line. Not to worry, I'm still going to get back to you on that point on relationship capital. Karanja, good morning.
Morning to you, Shiko. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
You're so lost. I saw you today.
Nimerudi, asante sana. Yes, so tell us, do you have a question? Do you have a comment?
I just have an advice.
Yeah.
I want to tell all young Kenyans, opportunities will always be there.
Yeah.
COVID is not the deadline. And COVID is not the end of life.
Right.
For instance, I just want to give a short example. Opportunities, Jesus said one time, money will always be there.
Yeah.
But money is in the marketplace, but you need a solution. You need to provide a solution or a service that suits where you are.
Right.
Just like the young man who started a pork butchery. So this is what I want to say. In Kasarani alone, we have around 44,000 people.
Yeah.
44,000 registered voters by 2017. If you multiply that by 100, that's 4.4 million rotating day in, day out.
Right.
But what do you see when you have a blocked mind and it's not an open mind?
Wow.
You can't see the opportunity.
Right.
But money will always be in the marketplace.
So
let the young people learn to think. Because in my class, I have a boy of 38 still staying with a mother.
Yeah. Wow.
So is that a solution? No. And mothers also should not be babysitting their young people.
Yes.
They should send them out to do jobs.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if it's an odd job. When a shilling gets to the bank, it's still as valid as it is in the marketplace.
Right. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's some powerful stuff right there coming from Karanja. I love it. Alice, back to your point on relationship capital, that networking is not as difficult as you think it is.
Yes. Networking, like you've just said, it's not as difficult as we take it to be. And the main thing is to just have a genuine interest in people. This idea that we have of, uyatanifanyia nini, you know, you look at someone, the first thing you ask is, what do you do? So that you know whether you want to talk to them or not, is something that we should just do away with and just have a genuine interest in people. Because you never know where the person you meet on the road, or I don't know, in a bus or in a taxi, wherever, you don't know where you will meet them at some point in future. So just have a genuine interest in people and be kind to one another. And that's the whole idea of networks. It's not about saying, me, I don't know a big boss in a certain company, so I can't be able to, I don't know, get a job, or I can't be able to start a business because I don't know people with deep pockets and stuff like that. Just start relating differently with the people around you. And you don't even know who the people around you know, and that's how you get to build relationships.
All right.
And that's networking.
Okay, so we only have a couple of more minutes to go, about 5 minutes. And let me start off with you, Ruth, as we begin to wind down. You know, your nuggets of wisdom to people who are watching right now, who are still using that line, I must say corona. Because we hear that a lot. Unajua corona. Yes.
So basically what I would like to tell the youths out there, life is all about your attitude. If you change your attitude, you'll be able to realize the opportunities that are available. The other thing is most of us have been hard hit. We at Rivana, our thoughts and prayers are actually with you.
Yeah.
And we will wish you all the best. And we want to encourage you that when opportunities knock, grab it and use it. Yes.
Okay. Nicholas, we understand that, of course, at the core of it all is for you to actually earn a living or make an income from your startup. But can you talk a little bit to us about not having money as the main focus as opposed to fulfilling a need in your society or your community?
All right. Good question. So I have always have a desire for young people.
Yeah.
Because I'm a product of so many people. So many people come in and supported me. So my main vision is to support young people.
Yeah.
And especially help them work on their composition, because I believe your composition will determine your competence. So I've actually employed 2 young people.
Yeah.
But what we normally do before even we start working, we get on Bible study, we pray together. And I talk to them, I try and mentor them as well. So I want them to grow, because I don't want to employ them forever. I want them also to grow to be better than me. And we are living at a place where the local brew is rampant. You know, people are taking local brew, a lot of drug, a lot of negativities, and people need hope, like me. You know, I was a street boy, and somebody invested in me. So I also commit my time as well. As I sell the pork, I commit my time to invest on young people, and especially those I interact them on a daily basis, those who come and sell meat. I make sure that I talk to them as well, and probably throw a word or 2 to encourage them and give them hope. Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for that, and of course for all the pointers that we have received so far. Before I say kwaheri, let me ask my director if we do have any text messages. We don't want to leave out anyone who has contributed. And so very quickly, as we have that 1 minute to go, let's just see who's saying hello to us. Shiko, show is amazing. I'm a student in RVST, but for now I sell chapati, and I only started with 200 bob. But for now, I have a capital of more than 5,000 because I have a lot of customers. People should just try even the little they have. I think that just deserves a clap. That deserves a clap. Well done, selling chapatis. Okay, anyone else very quickly before we say goodbye? Shiko, I was fired via WhatsApp. Oh my God. First week of COVID, that taught me something. Have your own hustle, and in the food industry, especially in the food industry, I'd like to think that's what they said, you are good. Okay. Hi, Amos from Eldoret. Thanks for the advice. I would like to ask about money market. What does it mean? Secondly, if I decide to start rearing hens, should I be worried about the market? All right, and then of course there was the advertising question. All right, so do we have 1 minute to respond to those? Okay, fine. So Alice, very quickly, why don't you just respond about advertising? And I think, you know, just on a broader scale, you can talk to those who are kind of worried about what next. If I start and I jump into this business, how do I know it's going to do well?
All right. Advertising, just like any other business, is I think the foundation is 2 things. Number 1, relationship building, and then be good at what you do. And the last bit is don't just deliver, but over-deliver when it comes to your clients.
Right.
And then just as my parting shot, I'd say I think we're in a new normal. And change has happened, we can take so much time just, you know, whining and complaining and focusing all our energy on the old, or we can just take our energy and focus on the new and just reimagine, rethink, reorganize, and just re-strategize, not just from a personal level, but on an organizational level and the country as a whole. Thank you so much.
All right. So with that, let me start off by saying a big thank you to Ruth Bikambo. She is the CEO of Rivana Collections. Thanks so much for making time for us today. Nicholas, when are we coming for pork on the house, of course?
Anytime.
Nicholas Olwach, of course, does have his own pork center. It's actually called Intentional Pork Center. I got that right?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so Kawangware it is.
Kawangware Gatina.
If you're in Kawangware, make sure you pass by Intentional Pork Center. They're doing some amazing stuff. And of course, Alice Njambi, thanks a lot. If you are looking for personal development coaching, well-conscious creators, and of course, Njambi is available at your service to help you just rethink, like she said, restart, reboot, and reorganize your life. And remember, the easiest way to get started is by finding a need in your own community. How can you start from there and then build your way up? You've heard it from our panelists today. They saw something. There was something that was needed there, and they stepped right in. I want to wish you all the best, and we hope that this was very informative. We've come to the end of our social hour on money and finance, right here on K24. But that's not it for me. I will be back with the Daily Brief that's coming up next on K24. See you then.